morning, friends. Today we're going to do a yoga class. It's going to be between 30 and 40 minutes long. What you'll need is a yoga mat. If you don't have a mat, you can use a towel. Feet on the floor is okay. Kind of something that gives you a little bit of your space. I also have a few props today. I have a couple blocks that I'm going to use throughout this program. But if you don't have blocks at home, no worries. I'll always be showing some modifications. So today we're going to start the practice in mountain pose. Mountain pose is one of my favorites. It's just a nice, strong way of starting the class. So our feet are going to be about hip distance apart. I always say lift the toes up. Get those feet firmly planted onto the ground, and then just allow those toes to relax down. And just imagine our calves. We're going to engage those strong legs. So our calves are going to be nice and engaged, our quads, our hamstrings. Keep that core nice and tight. Lengthen the spine. Notice the shoulders. Draw them down and away from the ears. Our arms are nice and strong beside you. And imagine you have a balloon that's kind of attached to the top of your head, and it just lifts it up like that balloon is floating up towards the ceiling. And just take a moment here to just come into the practice, standing nice and strong in mountain pose. Remember, everything that we do is to every level. I'll show modifications. I'll show a few challenging things as well, so that you can try to see what your body can do. So let's take a nice deep breath in. And as you release that breath, you can release the breath with sound. So it's taking that deep breath in through the nose. And releasing that breath, but still we're nice and strong. I always tell people, we have that nice strong foundation. So this time when we take that deep breath in, we're going to inhale and we're going to bring the arms into extended mountain pose. So inhale, bring those arms up to the ceiling in extended mountain pose. So we have nice, strong and engaged arms. Notice our shoulders are away from the ears. From here, we're going to exhale and we're going to fold forward only as far as you can fold. If you have to take a slight bend in the knees, take that slight bend in the knees. No problem, because you're going to listen to what your body is telling you. And then from here, we're going to reverse swan dive. So inhale as you reverse swan dive those arms back up into extended mountain pose. And exhale, arms down into mountain pose. So this one I'm going to use my blocks for a little bit of support to show you as well. So we're going to do that one more time. Take that nice deep breath in. Inhale, bring those arms up towards the ceiling. Exhale, we're going to fold forward. And this time, I'm bringing my hands to the blocks because I'm not quite there to reach the floor yet. So this way, it gives my hands a little bit of support, but still allows me to go just a smidgen longer in our stretch. Inhale as we reverse swan dive back up to extended mountain pose, and exhale, hands to side. One more time this time. I'll do it without the blocks, but know that you can do it whatever works for you. So inhale, take that nice deep breath in, reach long into extended mountain pose. Exhale as we fold forward. Again, figure out where you are. Inhale, reverse swan dive back up into extended mountain pose. Exhale, arms to the side. How are we feeling? Starting to feel a little bit warmed up? I'm going to just come to the side here. Again, finding those mountain poses. We're going to inhale as we take that nice deep breath in. Reach long and strong into extended mountain pose. Exhale. exhale as we fold forward, either hands to block, to shins, or to the floor. You decide. This time we're going to inhale. We're going to slide our palms halfway up our shins. Bring that back into a nice flat back. Gaze is still down towards the front of the mat. Exhale, reverse swan, or fold forward. Inhale, reverse swan dive up. Exhale, hands to side. Let's try that one more time and see if I get my words correct this time. Inhale, take that nice deep breath into extended mountain pose. Exhale, fold forward, bringing those hands to the floor, to the blocks, to your shins, whatever works for you. Inhale, draw those palms of the hands halfway up the shins. Nice long straight back. Exhale, release back down to the mat. Inhale, reverse swan dive back up. And exhale, hands to side. Oh, fantastic. Let's just add a little bit in. Start to kind of stretch the hips and the legs. So inhale, take that nice deep breath into extended mountain pose. Exhale, fold forward, bring those hands down to the mat. Inhale, draw those hands halfway up the shins with that flat back into half forward fold. And exhale back into forward fold. Bring those hands down to the mat, soften the knees, and we're going to step that right foot back. We're going to just press that heel to the wall behind you. And notice, you'll see me use some blocks throughout the program, because props are a great way to allow those hips to sink just a little bit more, to allow you to lengthen just a smidgen more, pressing that heel back to the wall. Feel that nice lengthening along that right leg. Soften that knee, step that foot forward. Inhale, reverse swan dive up. And exhale, hands to the side. Let's try the other side. Inhale, take that nice deep breath into extended mountain pose. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, draw those hands halfway up the shins with that nice flat back. And exhale, release down to the mat. Stepping back with that left foot this time. Pressing that heel to the wall behind you. And just notice, feel that stretch along the calves, the hamstring, the whole left leg, the hip if you can. Just notice if you feel it sink just a little bit down. From here, we're going to take that right foot and we're going to step that right foot back into down dog. So in down dog, feet are hip distance apart. Our palms. So lift your fingertips up off the mat and then gently replace just the fingertip pads onto your mat, almost like you're cupping like a ladybug underneath of your palm. Something precious. And I want you to press those hands away from the feet and just notice if you can lift those hips just a smidgen longer or higher towards the ceiling. Also in down dog, just know you don't have to have straight legs. You can have those nice soft bent knees in order to get those hips into lengthen just a smidgen more. From here, we're just going to walk those dogs, walk the legs. So soften the left and lengthen that right leg, pressing that heel to the mat, or as far as you're able to get it. Switching legs, so soften that right, lengthen that left leg. Switch one more time. Just notice if you can get a little bit of hip rotation in there. And last one here. Come back into down dog. Soften those knees, and we're just gonna step that left foot forward in between the hands. If you need a little help, assist with your hand. Nothing wrong with that. We're gonna drop that back knee down to the mat, and we're just gonna shift those hips forward. Again, bringing into play my blocks, just to allow me to get a little bit of height. Allow those hips to drop just a smidgen more. And just really feel that lengthening of the right hip flexor. Take that nice breath in through the nose. And as you release that breath, just focus on that hip flexor area, allowing those muscles to slowly start to release. People that often have desk jobs have tight hip flexors because we're sitting behind a desk all the time. Tuck that back toe under, lengthen that back leg, and just step that left foot back into down dog. Again, kind of reset with down dog. Soften both those knees. This time we're going to step that right foot forward in between the hands. Again, if you need a little help, just use that hand to bring the hip or the ankle forward. Drop that back knee down, and I'm going to bring into play my blocks again, and just shift those hips forward. This time noticing that left hip flexor. So the part in here is lengthening just a little bit more. So again, use your props if you need to. Soften the hips and just allow them to sink just a smidgen more. If you can have the hands on the mat and allow those hips to sink, that's great. If you don't happen to have blocks at home, you can find some boxes. If you have boxes of cereal, boxes of crackers, whatever you have, something that gives you a little bit of support to allow you to just lengthen a bit more into the pose. From here, we're going to tuck that back toe under, lengthen that back leg, and we're going to step that right foot back into down dog. Take a moment here in down dog, just to see if you can lengthen those hips, lifting them just a smidgen higher into down dog. And then from here, we're just going to drop those knees as we come into tabletop. So once here in tabletop, just kind of take note. The wrists are underneath of the shoulders, the knees are underneath of the hips. And we're going to take a few breaths here and come into cow and cat, cat and cow. This is where I often get them a little bit confused. So first, we're going to come into cow. So as we take that nice deep breath in, we're going to inhale. The shoulders come away from the ears. That belly drops down to the mat. And we bring our gaze forward as we take that nice deep breath in. And as we exhale, we arch that back, just like a cat. Tuck the chin, and just feel that whole rounded spine. Inhale as we rotate those shoulders away from the ears, drop the belly to the mat. Bring that gaze forward, and exhale as we arch back up into cat. So just a couple more at your own pace. I'll still talk you through it, but if you need to go a little bit faster, or if you need to take your time in each movement, listen to what your body is telling you to do. Inhale, draw those shoulders away from the ears, drop that belly towards the floor, and bring your gaze forward into cow. And exhale as you arch that back up towards the ceiling, tuck the chin, and feel that nice spine. And coming back into neutral tabletop. From here, we're going to just do a little bit of bird dog. So it's great core workout, great balance as well. So from tabletop, we're going to take that right foot and we're going to extend that right foot behind you. And we're going to take that left arm and we're going to extend that left arm forward. So this is a great way to start bird dog if you have a few balance issues. Your core is still engaged, so the nice thing with bird dog is full body workout. So we've got a core engaged, release that, come back into tabletop, and let's do the other side. So we're going to extend that left leg long, press that heel to the wall behind you, and we're going to extend that right arm out to the shoulder. Core is engaged, and our gaze is just straight down the mat, in between our hands, so that our head, neck, and shoulders are all in alignment with the spine. Coming back down into tabletop. Round 2 is going to be a little bit more modified, or a little bit more of a challenge. So this time we're going to engage the core, take that right glute and squeeze that glute as you lift that right leg this time. Hip distance. And then from here, if you can, extend that left arm out. Little bit more of a challenge, little bit of balance issues here. If you're shaking around, that's okay. Keep that core engaged, keep that back leg lifted, and replace back down into tabletop. How are we doing so far? Other side. We're going to engage that core, so we've got that whole core nice and engaged, wrapped around those ribs, I always say. Engage that left glute this time and lift that left leg. And if you can, extend that right arm out. If you can't do both, leave the hand down. Focus on that core and that glute, keeping that leg nice and lengthened. The other thing you want to be careful of is, as soon as we lift that leg, we tend to kind of open the hips. We want to keep those hips square to our mat. Engage that left glute. That whole left leg is working hard. We've got that whole core engaged. And release back down. How are we doing so far? Shall we try bird dog one more time on each side? Coming back into tabletop. Take that right leg, extend that right leg long. Take a look at your hips. Are your hips square to the mat? And extend that left arm out and hold it. Hold that pose. You got it. Engage that core. Hold, hold, hold. Squeeze that right glute. Don't let that leg fall down. Hold it, and release. Coming into bird dog last time on the other side. Extend that left leg long. Squeeze that glute. Keep your hips square to the mat. Lengthen that right arm. You got this, folks. Keep that whole core firmly engaged. Keep that left leg lengthened. You got it. Hold it. And release. Let's take a minute just back into child's pose. So just taking those knees to the outside of your mat, sinking the backside down into your heels, and just take a moment to rest in child's pose. Your head can be down, arms can be to the side, and if it's bothersome is to have your head down low, just take your hand. If you have your block, you can rest your head on the block. And just take another couple deep breaths. Breathe in through the nose. And as you release that breath, just notice if you can allow those hips to slowly sink just a smidgen more into that backside. One more nice deep breath in. And release that breath out through the nose. Noticing if you can allow those hips to release. Sinking a little bit more into those heels. From here, we're going to inhale as we come back into tabletop. And then from here, we're going to come back into down dog. So tuck those toes under, lift those hips high. You'll notice my legs are bent. In down dog, it's kind of where I feel most comfortable. So again, you choose what works best for you. It's your workout. I'm just here to help get you through it. Soften those knees this time. We're going to step that left foot in between the hands. Take note, when you bring that left foot forward, that hip or that ankle directly above the knee, or below the knee. Okay? That back foot, we're going to press that back heel to the wall behind us. And again, I'm going to bring blocks into play here because I like to use props. Props give you that little bit of stability, a little bit of ability to be able to do something, perhaps just a little bit deeper. From here, we're going to inhale and we're going to rise up that upper body. Inhale, take that nice deep breath in, and exhale as you sink. So again, take a look. Front knee over top of that ankle. If you're shaking, that's okay. It's a hard pose, it's hard, we're working hard. Exhale, bring those hands back down to the mat and step that left foot back into down dog. How are we feeling so far? One more time on the other side. Soften those knees. Step that right foot forward in between the hands. Again, if you need a little help, use that hand to help that foot up there. I'm bringing my blocks back into play. Taking that left heel, we're going to press that left heel to the wall behind you. Lengthen that back leg. And then from here, we're moving up to high lunge. Inhale, take that nice deep breath in, and exhale. Just see if you can sink a smidgen more into high lunge. Again, it's balance too. So the other thing you can do if you need to is lengthen your stride, or widen your stance. Sometimes I wish my words came out the way I really wanted them to. Exhale, bring those hands back down to the mat. Step that right foot back into down dog. Sometimes it's like kind of that tongue twister to say what I want, do it, and teach at the same time. Doesn't always work that way, but we get there. All right, we're going to soften those knees again. Step that left foot forward. From here, we're going to just do something slightly different. That right hand is going to stay planted onto the mat or your block, wherever you need it to be. And we're going to take that left arm. We're going to inhale and we're going to rotate that upper body so that left hand is pointing up towards the ceiling. Your gaze follows the hand. We're going to hold it here. If that shoulder is bothersome, you can come straight out too. You choose what works best for you today. It's your workout. Inhale, draw those hands back down to the mat. Step that left foot back into down dog. One more time on that right side. Soften those knees. Step that right foot forward. I bring my blocks into play. So that left hand is going to be pressed down into the mat or your block. We're going to inhale as we rotate. This time bringing that right arm up towards the ceiling and bringing that right gaze with you, with that hand. Hold it, you got it here. How's the legs feeling, folks? Mine are a little shaky. Bring that hand back down to the mat. Step that right foot back into down dog. And we're going to treat ourselves here to a little child's pose. So bringing those knees to the outside of the mat, sinking your backside down to the heels, and just take a moment here. Just allow a little wiggle of those hips if you need to. All right, inhale as you come back up into tabletop. We're going to cross those knees, or those ankles. We're going to sink back into a seated position. So if you have to rotate the knees around, however you're going to get to a seated position. All right. We're going to bring those knees up in front. We're going to make our way down into the mat, laying on our backside, and we're going to do a little bit of core work on the floor. So wrap those arms around your knees, slowly rolling yourself down, keeping those knees tucked into your chest. Let's just take a little roll from one side to the other side. You may notice one side's a little bit tighter than the other, and that's okay. Just take a moment and hold on that side. Breathe through those tight areas and just notice if you can allow them to release, and just allow that tightness to release, tension to release. One more from one side to the other side. All right, bring both soles down to the mat, about hip distance apart. Hands can come out to the side. You may also find that you need a little bit of support under your lower back. So you can tuck those hands just underneath of that lower back for the support if you need it for a little bit of core. So here, we're going to just do some toe touches, knee lifts, kind of whatever. Everybody calls them a little bit different. So as we engage that core, we're going to draw those knees up. And as we release, I don't want you to touch if you can. I just want you to stop about an inch above the floor and then draw those knees back up. Down and up. The thing I want you to kind of focus on is I want your core to be doing this. So we engage those core muscles to lift those knees up and release and just hold them there about that inch above the floor. Engage to draw up and release down. A lot of times what happens is often our hip flexors do the work. So really important to just think core. Engage that core, squeeze that core to lift those knees up and down. If you want to do a little bit more, you can scissor those legs out and in if you want to. Try not to touch the mat. Try to just hold that out about an inch off the floor. I don't know if I'm an inch. But extending those legs makes it a little bit more challenging too. So always keeping that core nice and engaged. Lengthen and in. Or down and up. Two more. If you're doing that toe touch, stop just before the floor and engage that core to draw those knees up. One more time, you got this, folks. And release those feet back down to the mat. Just allow those knees just to kind of windshield wipe her from one side to the other side. Just to give them a little bit of a break. Loosen those muscles up. We're going to come into dead bug. So dead bug is another great all body core. Sometimes I get a little bit confused. My arms like to go in a different direction than my legs or the same one. So we'll see what happens. We're going to draw those knees up to 90 degrees. And we're going to bring those arms straight up to the ceiling. So first off, I'm just going to start with the legs. So we're going to take that right leg and extend it long and draw it back up. Left leg, extend it long and draw it back up. Or if the extending of the leg is too much, just toe touch down. Right toe touch and up, left toe touch and up. Now to add in these arms, you're going to extend that right leg and lengthen that left arm. So it's just like bird dog, but only on our back. But usually what happens is, if I don't think about it, extend the right leg and left arm, come back up to center, extend that left arm, right leg. Usually what happens, keep going, you got it. Right leg, left arm, is I usually end up extending the right leg and the right arm. Whatever works, we're doing it, we're keeping ourselves moving. That's what's most important. So extend that right leg, left arm, draw it back up, extend that left arm, right leg, draw it back up. One more time on each side. You got this, folks. How's the core feeling? One more time here. Hold it here and release. Taking those soles of the feet back down to the mat. And once again, just allowing them to float side to side. Coming back up to center. All right, shall we do one more nice core exercise? Just because we like to always have that core engaged. So again, I just need that little bit of support under my lower back. So I place the hands just under my lower back side. And what we're going to do here is extend both legs long. So we're not touching the floor. We've got those legs extended. We're going to scissor those legs. So right leg comes up to the ceiling, left leg stays long, and switch. And switch. Again, you can do this too, toe touches. If you need to just switch to a toe touch, switch to a toe touch. Extend, scissor those legs. You decide what works for you. And if you need to alternate it up, switch it up. A couple toe touches, a couple scissors. You decide. We've got 2 more on each leg. Once, twice, one more time here. Once, twice, and release. Excellent. How are we feeling? Pretty good? We're going to just do a little bit of stretching here on our back side. So taking those arms out to the side. From here, we're just going to kind of take those feet to the outside of your mat and just allow those knees to windshield, like windshield wipers, from one side to the other side. Feeling those nice lengthening, the stretching of the hips, if there's any tightness in there. If you need to spend some time on one side, just take a moment on one side. Flipping them over to the other side. Coming back up to center Once again, we're going to take both knees into our chest and wrap those hands around our knees. Just give a little gentle roll from one side to the other side. Keeping those knees into the chest, we're just going to allow those arms to come out to the side. And very gently, we're going to allow those knees to come down to our left side. Now, once you have your knees as low as you can get them, just take note of your shoulders. Are both your shoulders nice and snug to that mat beneath you? And then from here, you're just going to turn that gaze towards your right hand and just notice a stretch right from the right shoulder, upper right side of the body, and notice that lower back area. If you want to lengthen or deepen this stretch just a smidgen, take that top leg, so your right leg, and you're going to lengthen that right leg so the toes are pointing up towards your left hand. Some of you will be able to do it and still keep both shoulders on the mat. But if not, take those knees, just stack those knees again. Feel that nice stretch along the lower back side. This is great if you have lower back issues. This is a fantastic stretch. But always remember to kind of listen to your body and what your body's telling you. So just gently draw those knees back up to center. Reposition both shoulders down onto the mat, and then gently allow those right knees to lower down to the mat towards that right hand. Take a look at your shoulders. Do you feel both shoulders firmly rooted to that ground? Turning that gaze this time to your right, or so your left hand. And just notice that whole lengthening along the left shoulder, the upper left part of your body, here, your lower back. Just take notice of your lower back. It's a fantastic lower back stretch. And if you want to deepen this just a smidgen more, take that top leg, so your left leg, you're going to lengthen that left leg so your toes are pointing up towards your right hand. Some of you will be able to do this, like I said, and notice one side might be a little bit different than the other side, and that's totally okay. Take that nice breath in through the nose, and exhale as you release that breath out through the mouth. Gently draw both those knees up to the chest. Lower those soles of the feet down to the mat. And from here, we're just going to take those feet into butterfly. So we're going to be in recline butterfly. So the soles of the feet come together. The knees, you allow them to just slowly float down to the outside of your mat. And just lengthen the whole inside of your body, the legs. Just notice if you can allow those hips to lengthen. And then from here, the arms can come out to the side. Just allow both shoulders to kind of firmly just root into that ground. And just take a few deep breaths here. Breathing in through the nose. And as you release that breath, just gently allowing that whole body to start to relax. Coming into the space, taking this next couple of moments just to enjoy and relax the whole body. You can stay here in reclined butterfly if you'd like to for Shavasana, or you can switch out the legs where we lengthen the legs into corpse pose. Again, those arms can come out to the side, they can come down to your side, or for some of those that like to come into cactus pose, those arms can come up into cactus pose. If you're feeling a bit chilled now as we kind of cool off, just grab a blanket, throw a blanket over top of you, And we're just going to take the next few moments to kind of come into a space, be in the present time, and just allow ourselves to enjoy Shavasana. So just bringing awareness to our breath. So we breathe in through the nose. And slowly release that breath out through the mouth. Bringing that focus back into the breath. And as we allow those thoughts to wander in, just acknowledge them and then let them drift away again. Take that nice breath in through the nose. Perhaps this time you start to feel that belly rise up with that breath. Feel those lungs expand. And slowly release that breath out through the mouth. Starting to just notice the lengthening of our breath. Breathing in through the nose. Feel that breath come in through the belly. Expand the ribs. Pause with that breath for a moment. And as you release that breath, just notice if there's any tightness in our forehead, around our eyes, allowing those muscles to slowly start to release, relax. Noticing if there's a tightness in our jaw. Just allow that jaw a little wiggle from one side to the other side. Taking that nice breath in, feel that belly expand. The ribs rise up. Feel it come and open the heart. Pause with that breath for a moment. And as you slowly release that breath, just notice if there's any tightness or tension in the neck and shoulders. We often carry a lot of tightness and tension there without even realizing it. Taking a very gentle roll with the head from one side to the other side. And just allowing that head to come back into a neutral position. Notice if you can allow those shoulders to relax. Breathing in through the nose. Feel that belly rise up. Feel those ribs expand. Opening that heart. And as you slowly start to release that breath, just notice if you can allow those muscles in our spine to slowly release, allowing that spine to sink into the mat beneath you. Noticing those hip flexors relax as we allow those hips to sink, feeling that solid ground beneath us. Taking that next deep breath in, feel that belly rise up. Feel those lungs expand, opening that chest. And as you slowly start to release that breath, just bring awareness to any tightness or tension in those legs, focusing just on those areas, allowing those muscles to slowly start to release. Relaxing, feeling that nice solid ground beneath your legs. And just feeling that tightness flow out through the toes. One more nice deep breath in, feeling that belly rise up. Feeling the ribs expand, opening that heart. And as you pause with that breath, releasing that breath And just allowing that body to feel the heaviness of that solid ground beneath you, but also a lightness as that tightened tension has left the body. On your next breath in, just starting to bring awareness into the space around you, into the room that you've had your class in. Just noticing how you start to make a little bit of toes, awareness back into the toes as you start to wiggle them. A little bit of ankle movement. Waking up the fingertips and the wrists. Very gently just drawing those arms above your head. And just give your body that nice long stretch from the very tips of your toes to the very tips of your fingers. Feeling that nice long stretch. Feeling rejuvenated from a great practice, from doing something. Drawing those knees, first one knee, then the other knee into your chest. Wrapping those arms around your knees. Just giving a gentle roll from one side to the other side. Rolling over to one side and just take a moment there. Notice how the body's feeling. And if you enjoyed today's practice, just remember there's a lot of other streams of great programs. Try the Boost if you haven't tried it yet, the Balance programs. If you're new to exercise, there's some great begin programs. When you're ready from laying on the side, just gently pressing up using the palms of your hands. Come back into a seated position. Get comfortable. We'll take one nice deep breath in together. So inhale as we bring the arms up towards the ceiling, and exhale, hands to heart. Thank you for joining today. I hope you have a fantastic day today.